Welcome to the BetVictor Weber Cup spare time preview show. Something a little bit different this year. We're taking the chat show vibes to the Weber Cup, and while I can't quite promise you the comedy value of James Corden, I can promise you an A-list lineup, all 10 Weber Cup bowlers with us in the next half hour or so. And opening the show, players from both sides of the Atlantic made themselves YouTube stars during lockdown, shall we say. From the Beef and Barnsy show, Team USA captain Chris Barnes and Team Europe veteran now, Stuart Williams. Stu, that's fair, isn't it? Veteran of Team Europe?
Yeah, I guess we don't have that many to choose from, so eventually, you're going to get picked.
And Chris, you're coming back over here again as the defending champions, looking for the three-peat. How's confidence in the camp?
Well, I got a lot of great guys behind me that hopefully they can overcome their captain.
I should say we have got the players in a bit of a studio audience with us as well, so we might see and hear from them at some time. We are now at the Rico Arena. We've all been tested. We're inside the bubble, ready to bowl. The boys get access to the lane a little bit later on today to start practicing. And Stu, it's that time of year where the Weber Cup is very, very close now. It all begins tomorrow. Are you getting that sense of excitement yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a strange sense of excitement, when we're in this situation, there's not going to be any crowd there. But yeah, definitely, all year you really look forward to the event, and we've got our guys and we're ready to go.
Chris, he says all year they look forward to the event. We certainly know that you guys hear from Stuart, but has he been a little bit quieter the last couple of years?
I think he spent the last year trying to forget the last two more than trying to look forward to the next one. So, yeah, it is an odd thing though with the bubble protocol and some of the other things. So the build-up's been a little bit different from our end too. Can't wait to get on the lanes though and get started.
And of course, Stu, none of those famous European fans at the Weber Cup this year. You didn't have them last year in Las Vegas, but there was at least a crowd there. This year, slightly different. How do you think that will affect the team?
Well, I mean, I think that we'll be more comfortable because we're at home. So that's basically what I'm taking from it so far. I mean, who knows when we get out there? I mean, we've all bowled in that situation just recently with no crowd, and I think everybody performed pretty well. So I think once you get in the heat of battle, you don't notice that much.
Well, let's have a chat about the Beef and Barnsy show, because it was one of the things that sort of sprung up at the start of the lockdown, and we've all enjoyed watching it. Chris, what sort of gave you the idea to start the concept up, and why Stu?
He's a much better talker than I am for starters. If you're gonna fill an hour with time, it helps if 45 minutes is done right up front.
To be fair, I shouldn't really be prodding you too much, Stu, because you can give it out a lot more than I probably can. Has that been one of the good elements of the Beef and Barnsy show for you, is being in touch with all the players?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, when we went into the lockdown, we were just trying to find a way that we could, still reach out to the fans and still, help them to get through the lockdown. And since we started doing it, we found like it was a good platform for other players to be able to give back to their sponsors and stuff. So yeah, we've enjoyed doing it, and Chris is a Hall of Famer, so he brings the credibility and I bring all the hard work.
And Chris, is it something you plan to carry on with for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really started when we were doing some of the sideline things. We struggled at some of the same tournaments together, and so we had free time to be in the booth while the rest of these guys were still playing match play, and there seemed to be some chemistry there and some humor, and we bring two different elements, I think, and so far it's been fairly well received.
It has. It's been brilliant. We've really enjoyed watching it. Just moving back to the Weber Cup, Chris, as the captain, you've got 5 players this year, yourself included, so a slightly different dynamic. We, of course, had Bill O'Neill from the PBA Tour points list. What a season he's had. And then just talk us through the other 4 players and why you included them in the team.
Well, obviously Simonson, or as Stu refers to him as Texas Jesus. Yeah, he and Kyle have both been basically the reason why we've won the last 2 cups. They've been great both years, and so they were easy automatics. Bill won the points, and so he's been probably one of the hottest guys over the last 2 or 3 years. Not named Bomani. Seemingly rooming with him has rubbed off, and then EJ actually over the last 5 years has been the best player, not named Jason. So across the board, I think adding the 5th player for us, makes us even stronger.
And Stu, one of the points you've made about the 5th player is it kind of halves the importance of Anthony Simonson and Kyle Troop at the Weber Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Bill and EJ are both great players, and, it shows in the points list how far they're ahead of us. But at the same time, we've beaten both those guys before, and we haven't beat Simonson yet. So Hopefully, the less he gets to bowl, the better.
And just before I let you guys go and we bring in our next guest, Stu, I wanted to pick up on something that was said actually in your Beef and Barnsy show, one of your Weber Cup previews. You were interviewing, I think it was Kyle, and he suggested you might have been the Ian Poulter of bowling. Do you take that?
Yeah, that was Bill. Kyle's not smart enough to come up with that. But yeah, I take that. That's fine. Ian Poulter comes out on the winning side in this thing quite often. So yeah, hopefully he's right.
You'll be looking to hopefully taste victory this week. You confident?
Yeah, of course. You've always got to believe.
Absolutely. Well, guys, great to see you, and keep up the good work with Beef and Barnsy as well. We've really enjoyed watching it, and do carry it on. So big thanks to Team USA captain Chris Barnes and Team Europe Stuart Williams. Time now to bring in our next guest, and two players it seems strange to say are looking for Weber Cup redemption just because of how great they've been on the PBA Tour over the last few years. One of them qualified as top of the PBA Tour points list, that's Bill O'Neill, and also a former world champion, EJ Tackett. A smattering of applause, guys, from your fellow teammates and the European team over there. Guys, great to see you back at the Weber Cup. Bill, I know something you said to me when we spoke in the summer was you never thought you'd get this shot at Weber Cup redemption. So how does it feel to be here?
It feels great to be back. I was pretty sure that my teammates and the people that run this event were never going to have me back if I had to be invited. So I had to make sure I qualified on my own, and I did that this year.
Well, look, we're glad you're back this time. I mean, you said the last few years, look, you've played 5 Weber Cups. This will be your 6th, and it wasn't all that bad, was it?
No, we had a really good run to start. Both with Tommy Jones and Chris Barnes, and we won a few. But as a competitor, the last couple are the only ones that really stick out to me.
And EJ, similarly, a bit of an anomaly in Weber Cup history because you came in 2017, I think it was. You were the world champion at the time, and then just didn't quite find your groove on the lane. What went wrong?
Everything. I think ball choices that I brought over weren't the right ones. Wasn't really sure what to expect. But looking back on it, I learned a lot from that one experience, and I've brought a different array of bowling balls this time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Can you put it down to it was just one bad week of form in what was actually several years of real hot streak from you?
Yeah, it was just just a weird week. I know that was the first time I'd ever traveled to England. I struggled with the time change. I think my body clock was off. I didn't perform well. But the second time coming back, I know all those things coming in now. So I'm very much looking forward to this week.
How's the jet lag right now?
It's way better than it was last time.
That's good to know. We can look forward to that then. And Bill, for yourself, a few years out, obviously 5 years in the Weber Cup, it's been a few years since you last bowled. Does that help you reset and come with a fresh approach and maybe not so much be thinking about the last 2 years you were here?
Yeah, 100%. The last couple of times I was here, I bowled scared. I was afraid to let my team down because it started to go south and it started to panic, and new lease on life here now, and I think I'm ready to go.
And look, the Europeans are watching, so don't give too much away, but you've been on such a hot streak this year. What's the secret?
I got more confident in my game. I developed a couple more skills that I didn't have in the past to kind of adapt to the changing environment of bowling and to keep up with the guys with a lot of rev rate and the guys with 2 hands. So I've done a really good job at getting better at those things.
And EJ, one thing I wanted to ask you about, when you came into the team, last year it was in the middle of a European streak of Weber Cup wins. The American team was changing a little bit each year. This time you're coming into a more settled team, with guys like Kyle and Anthony who've been MVPs the last couple of years. The team's a winning team. Does that make a difference for you?
Oh, absolutely. It gives me a lot of confidence coming in. Not that I didn't have it before, just knowing that coming into this team, they know how to win. The guys that are on this team, they know how to win. So I hope I can contribute the best that I can to the team, and hopefully we'll come away with another victory.
Bill, a similar question to you, because it's a very different team from when you last bowled, apart from the fact, of course, Chris is still the captain. Does that familiarity of Chris help you while also knowing that you're coming into a very successful team?
Yeah, absolutely. Chris and I know each other's games pretty well, so we can help each other out when things are going bad, and we can make a lot of good decisions amongst us. And the other 3 guys are 3 of the best bowlers in the world, and they've Chris and I plan on riding their coattails to victory this week. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
But if things start well, I guess that's going to be a key for you guys, because if you have a good first day, you can very quickly forget about your previous experiences here. Whereas I guess if it's not a great individual first day, maybe the Europeans might be reminding you of previous problems on the Weber Cup lane.
Whatever happens at this point, I'm just going to blame on EJ and Kyle and Anthony. So if it goes wrong, even if I lose, I'll just blame them.
You ready to take the flak, EJ?
I guess so. I mean, I kind of have to. Bill's been out here since I was like 10 years old, so I kind of have to just take it.
Of course, a very different year this year. We, of course, meant to have the Weber Cup in June at the end of a really busy PBA Tour schedule. Bowling has come back. You've had a little bit of fun, but how's your rhythm since coming back?
I mean, I've been bowling really, really well. We had those events in Virginia that we bowled, and I performed really well. I didn't, really come away with a ton.
You didn't win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you were trying to get
Yeah. Well, I was trying to not give too much away, Bill. But anyway, I performed really well. I bowled well, just wasn't able to get to the next level. But it's okay. I hope to continue that form into this week, and hopefully the pins go my way this time.
And Bill, I guess Weber Cup redemption would be the icing on the cake for this year for you.
Yeah, it's been a great last couple of years, for me. I had struggled a lot, even outside the Weber Cup on the tour, just not getting the success and getting on the shows, like I had been in previous years. So, this would definitely be the icing on the cake.
Well, look, best of luck. We really do hope we see the very best EJ Tackett and Bill O'Neill this year because, absolute elite bowlers, and we'd love to see it at the Weber Cup lane. Of course, the Europeans point out that they want to see, EJ from a couple of years ago and Bill's previous Weber Cups. But, let's hope it's a everyone's bowling 300s. That's this kind of event we want.
That's how they actually been. They're used to heckling us from offset. These guys, they don't.
Was that maybe the secret to Europe's success the last few years?
It's having no individual success and then being able to do it on a team. I guess it must be. I think you might be right.
It's the Ian Poulter thing again, isn't it? Well, guys, thank you very much. Great to see you, and we do hope you have a great week this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, from two guys looking for Weber Cup redemption this week to two guys who need no such thing. They've been among the best performers at the Weber Cup over the last few years, and of course they are great mates on tour as well. From Team USA, Kyle Troop, and from Team Europe, Jesper Svensson. Guys, great to see you. Even less applause that time around, but we're not sure what that says about you. But you picked up a couple of paddles on the way, because we want to do something a little bit different. We know you guys get on really well for sort of 51 weeks of the year, and then that all gets left behind this week. But before we leave it behind and get ultra competitive, a little bit of a warm-up, and just to get to know you guys a little bit better, what the guys have got here are two paddles, one with Jesper's face on, one with Kyle's face on. I'm sure you've seen this kind of format before. It's Mr. and Mr. with Svensson and Troop. And basically, the way it's going to work, guys, I'll ask you some quick-fire questions and hold up the paddle who you think would be the answer. So, for example, if I was to ask you who's got the best throw, Jesper's unsure. But if I was to ask you who's going to win a clutch match at the Weber Cup this week, thankfully they backed themselves for that one. So that's the idea. I'll fire through these questions and then we'll have a little chat at the end. So, first of all, guys, which of you is the funniest? The most stylish? In agreement there. Which of you will end your career with the most PBA Tour titles?
He'll be done.
Yeah, confidence is what we like to see. So if you're in a bar and you both like the same girl, which one of you is most likely to walk away with her number?
Ooh. Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah. Come on. I kind of thought that might happen. Other than bowling, which one of you is the best at sports? Yeah? Jesper, what kind of sports are you smashing at?
I'm pretty confident that I beat him in everything, so whatever sport you want.
Ping pong, I guess. But
Yeah, well, we've got the ping pong bats, we've got a darts board as well, so we might have a look at that this weekend. Which of you is the best looking? Yeah, that didn't take much time, did it?
there's two paddles over there. Two paddles.
Pretty easy question so far.
It's almost dinner time. Which of you is the fussiest eater? The fussiest eater.
Ooh.
Which of you is
I
the most
barely
picky?
know what it means, but it
The
doesn't
most
sound
picky
any
eater.
good. So.
Yeah, we're going to go with Kyle on that one. On a night out, who's taking the longest to get ready? Oh, really? Interesting.
Depends on my
I
hair.
was going to say, how long does this take?
10 minutes.
Okay, Jesper, I guess not quite as long though.
15 to get dressed.
A couple more to go. Which of you is the best singer? No, both paddles staying firmly down for that one. Okay, finally, which one of you is going to be in the winning team this week? Perfect confidence. Look, guys, obviously you do get on really well away from tour. When it comes to the Weber Cup, how does that change? Does the dynamic switch between you, or do you just stay out of each other's way for the week?
I would say the dynamic's still, we're still really close friends. We room together a lot. But at the end of the day, we're competing against each other. So I think as soon as we step on the lanes, the friendship might be tossed out the door for a game or two. But, we're fierce competitors and we want to beat each other. And I definitely want to beat Jesper because the track record hasn't been the best at the Weber Cup. So yeah, that's a goal.
Yes, but looking at your first 2 years in the Weber Cup and then the last two, I'm guessing you probably are hoping to perhaps bowl against Kyle a little bit more than maybe Anthony this week.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of rough goes at Anthony the last couple of years, but yeah, the first 2 years was a great success for me, and kind of need to get back to that a little bit, hopefully this week. And you know, as long as I bowl Kyle, I think I would be all right.
Do you think you're both players who thrive on also the success of the team? Because of course, Jesper, your first 2 years, you were absolutely fantastic, took the MVP, Europe won it quite comfortably in one of those years especially, and then everything switched around the last 2 years, and Kyle, you were the MVP 2 years ago and bowled very well last year. Yes, but do you think that the team success also plays a part in your individual success here?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about the confidence and the momentum you can build up as a team and kind of bounce off each other a little bit. So we have had a pretty rough start to the Weber Cup the last couple of years, and we need to change that to have some success early and be able to build confidence. And I mean, we all can beat them, so
Momentum's a big word at the Weber Cup. You sort of feel it all the way through the history of the event. Carl, I guess you came into a team who didn't have a lot of winning momentum, and then that switched around a few years ago. Do you feel a complete difference now from those first 2 years for you?
Most definitely. You know, like you said in previous interviews, you know, our team was kind of bouncing around. Right now, I feel like we have a solid core with our captain Barnes, myself, and Simonson. And you know, like Jesper said, it's all about confidence. And you know, we've won 2 years in a row. I think we have some of the best bowlers, you know, on our team out of all of us here. And you know, we're just gonna. I think the chemistry and how well the team works together is another positive for us. And we're going to build on the confidence and chemistry, and you know, move forward with.
Bill said earlier, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, that you know himself and EJ were hoping to ride on the coattails of the success that yourself and Anthony and Chris have had at the event. If that does happen and everybody's firing, could this be one of the best ever American Weber Cup teams?
That's a strong statement because there's been some really good teams in the past, but I got a feeling EJ and Bill are going to do a little more striking than they might think. So hopefully we can go down in history as one of the teams.
But yes, of course, on the other side, Europe want to halt that momentum and turn things around. You said about getting an early start is important. Do you think that will be the real factor the first day and how that goes down?
yeah, I think that's a big key for sure. But even if we're down after the first couple of sessions, it's nothing is impossible, and I think we have the team and the group to be able to come back from everything pretty much. So, but yeah, a good start would help for sure. But you know, the addition of Thomas this year been bowling great the last few years. So you know, I think he can be a great addition to the team, and obviously Stu and Dom have done this for a lot of time. So Oscar as well with all this firepower, I think we can be a very good team, and I mean we have always a good time together. So yeah, hopefully.
And just to link back into that friendship thing before we let you go, is Kyle the guy you want to be bowling against at the Weber Cup?
I mean, if it's a must point for us, yeah, definitely. Because I mean, he knows that he can't beat me, and you know, half of his success is because of me. So yeah, definitely.
Well, the European team behind you like that answer, Kyle. What have you got to say to that?
I'll just let my bowling do the talking this year.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for stopping by and chatting to us. Best of luck on the lane, and we do hope we get to see you up against each other because it's a great chemistry off the lane, and we hope we can see it on the lane as well. Thank you, guys. Well, from two friends on opposing teams to two Europeans, as Kyle and Jesper continue to chirps as they leave the seats there. Two from the European team who we know have such a strong friendship bond as well. Oscar Palermo and our debutant, Thomas Larsson. Guys, great to see you both. Thomas, your first time here, of course, at the Weber Cup. How's it feel to be here?
It's different than you expect just because of the whole setting here this year, but it's great. I look forward to getting started and actually being on the lanes with this team.
Oscar, we were chatting there with Kyle and Jesper about their friendship. One of the things that's been a theme for Europe at the Weber Cup, probably for at least the last 10 years, if not longer, is the bond that you have between yourself. You've got Thomas coming in as a rookie this year, but he's really one of you guys anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like we travel together like almost everywhere nowadays. Okay, Jesper's kind of hanging out with Kyle too much sometimes, we think, especially this week we're going to think so, but every now and then Thomas joins the group, so yeah, we're like a family.
Well, I think we've laid down the cracks there with the Kyle and Jesper divide, so you might get him back for the week. Thomas, it must be good for you to come in to the Weber Cup, but with these guys who are kind of like your touring family.
Yeah, I've known these guys for as long as I've been bowling internationally, and we've had good matches, and it's very nice to come here and be comfortable right from the get.
And Oscar, you came back into the team last year after a few years out. Just your reflections on last year in Las Vegas for yourself.
Me personally, I had a terrible start, like we as a team, though we were close to actually getting there. And then Simon had that big strike and they won. I actually favor our chances if that were not to be the case. But now this year being a little different, there's been time for myself to practice, so I can't wait to get on the lanes.
Well, momentum is always a key word at the Weber Cup. We've heard it a few times already in this preview. Even though Europe lost last year, like you say, they performed very well at the end and almost pulled the Weber Cup back. Do you think you can take that momentum from the last couple of days last year into the start this year?
Definitely. Like all 10 people here, they're such a great bowlers that getting on the roll, on the momentum it's a big thing. Obviously, then you could easily get a little lazy, but big start is always a big key.
Thomas, we know you like bowling in team events. What is it about the team environment that suits you?
Well, it's a different feeling. Like you're not performing for yourself. You're performing for the team, whether it be your club team or national team or entire Europe this time. It's just a different feeling where you step up and you want to perform, because it doesn't just involve yourself. It involves everyone else, and that's something I feel like I excel at, and it's a great situation to be in.
Oscar, as Thomas says, you're bowling for the whole continent. I know the fans who always support Europe so well at the Weber Cup can't be here this year, but I know you're very active on social media. Did you feel that support from everybody at home?
I do. They still reach out on social media, and like you said, and then I think we're going to have some pictures on screens and stuff, so they'll be there, and we know they'll be there in spirit.
Absolutely. And if you want to submit your picture to be on the screens here, webercup.com, just send your pictures and your videos there if you've not already done so. We'd love to see many of them. Thomas, obviously you've not got out onto the lane yet. It's practice day today. What do you think it'll be like to walk out there and bowl your first bowl at the Weber Cup?
Oh, it'll be nervous for sure, but it'll also be exciting. Like this is, you watch this on TV back home and hope to be there one day, and this year it's actually going to happen. So that's it's going to be a little bit of a childhood dream come true.
And Oscar, as the rest of the team, is there anything that you do just to help the rookies come in? Of course, Jasper joined the team 3 or 4 years ago now with huge success. Is there anything that you do to just help ease them into the team?
Yeah, well, a little heckling gets you in the family quick now. It's just getting that comfortable feeling that you're part of the family. And like, I want to say a big thank you to the audience, like the English fans and everybody we have, because that really helps us.
And for anybody who follows the Weber Cup but maybe doesn't see so much of the PBA Tour and doesn't know much about Thomas, what can we expect from Thomas?
He might be a little silent, but he's got tricks. Going to 5, it's going to help us.
And Thomas, I'll ask you the same question. How would you actually describe yourself as a bowler? What are you bringing to this team?
Well, I think I can fit into a lot of different spaces for the team, both as the guy that kind of gets the communication going if we get pressure, just because I've been in that situation so many times with the Danish national team, but also I feel like I'm pretty versatile, so no matter what pattern or who I'm bowling against, I think I can put myself in a good position.
And it must give you a lot of confidence that when the Weber Cup moved to 5-man teams again this year, it was yourself who Captain Dominic Barrett called up to offer you the spot on the team.
Oh yeah. First I thought it was Martin, because people always think that I'm Martin, but when he actually told me that it was me he meant to call, then it made me feel pretty good.
Well, if people always think that you're Martin, that's a pretty good thing for the Weber Cup, because of course he's lucky Martin Larsson here. He's only ever lost 1 Weber Cup.
Yeah, there has to be a Lucky Larson at the Weber Cup, right? So hopefully that's me this year.
Well guys, thank you both very much. 2 more players to introduce before we conclude our Weber Cup preview show here on Spare Time, and they are the European captain and the reigning MVP. For Team Europe, Dominic Barrett, and from Team USA, Anthony Simonson. Ripplings of applause as I think the beer fridge is more popular at the moment with everybody. Guys, great to see Anthony. Of course, the MVP coming back to, were you MVP last year? It kind of could have been the last 2 years, really, couldn't it? You've had a great success at the Weber Cup the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a fun time. I've always watched the show growing up. It's cool to be MVP last year, but at the end of the day, we're here for a Team USA win. So,
Dom, you'll have something to say about that, right?
Yeah, I'm leading the team again this year, and looking forward to a successful year. We're going to be in England, competing in Coventry, Rico Arena. even though we don't have the crowd, it's still, you know, our home advantage, and we're going to bring things that we didn't last year. And yeah, I'm looking for a really successful event.
And a big milestone personally for you this year, because the first time you take to the lane at this year's BetVictor Weber Cup will be your 100th match at the Weber Cup. That's quite a feat, isn't it?
It is, and I had no idea. And you know, there's enough pressure in the Weber Cup without you putting that on me, trying to win my 100th match.
That's what we're here for.
Win the 100 match I'm playing. But it's fantastic, and looking back over the matches I've had and the experience I've got in this event is brilliant, and I can't wait to take the 100th and many more, hopefully.
Of course, Team USA have won the last 2 Weber Cups. As captain this year, is there anything you'll do differently in your approach?
It's difficult, you know, because I'm a bowler at the end of the day. That's what I do. Most of the time, that's individual. But I get to travel with these guys. We sit down, have dinner together. We know each other really well. So being captain for me doesn't really expand my role too much. But definitely, there's a few things in the last year that I've been thinking about and want to do a little bit differently and try to expand that even further as a team bowler. And that's one thing I think bowling doesn't give you in professional ranks, really. It doesn't give you that team experience that much. So this year, I think perhaps a little bit differently, and watching, you know, documentaries like the sport documentaries you get to watch throughout lockdown and things like that has always been something I've been interested in naturally, being a sportsman and an athlete. And perhaps maybe I'll try and introduce a couple of those things to bring us even closer and get communication even better. But you know, without even looking at the result too much, just having us as that close unit is really important to me, and that's what we've done so well in our successes and our losses. And we've learned from those a lot, and just trying to move forward into making that even more success than we've had in the past.
So which documentaries have you been watching? Who are you taking inspiration from? Which teams, which players?
Well, I don't really like Tottenham, but watching All or Nothing with Tottenham and Jose Mourinho and what he's done, and how a captain leads that team and things like that, you know. So more time in your hands than you want in the last sort of 6-7 months. But you know, just getting like a bit more personal. I sit at home with my wife at home, and we'd be watching TV shows and dramas and whatever else, and I got so fed up of them. And as soon as sport started, that was it. I didn't care what sport it was. I just wanted to watch something that wasn't scripted, that was real, that was structured in a way for people to go out and perform at their best. And just how people do that and the mentality it takes, and that's kind of what I've always been about as a sportsman. And taking that into the Weber Cup, I think, has helped me be a successful captain in the past and hopefully again in the future.
Anthony, what have you been doing in lockdown? Did you watch any of those sports documentaries, or was there something else going on for you?
You know, for me, I actually got involved in a bar that has some bowling lanes back home. Moved out to Vegas during the shutdown. I've been doing a lot of working there. I haven't been doing too much bowling. You know, basically right before big events, put in a good 4 or 5 days of practice. You know, and hope we're sharp. But so I mean, really, I've just kind of learned how to do a lot of things on GSX.
I did want to ask you about this, and I apologise if you're a family watching this. Give us a moment. I've heard you've got a big pink dick in your bar. Is this true?
Yeah, there is. Instead of a mechanical bull, there is a mechanical dick that is there. You know, it's Vegas. It's something that was there when I went in. Bar owner had. People enjoy it, honestly. Guys, girls, it's impressive to see how many people really do. Like, where's it at? I gotta see it.
Look, there's a lot of puns and a dangerous road we could go down there. But Dom, I'm presuming you've got nothing like that in Colchester, no?
I think there are some bars, but not in the last few months at least. They've all been closed.
Well, look, switching it back to a slightly more serious conversation, we were talking about pressure at the start and us putting pressure on you. Here's a little bit more, because there can't be too many European captains who've lost 3 Weber Cups as captain. Is that in the back of your mind at all?
It goes on spurts, right? So I think you like win 3, lose 3, win 3, lose 3, and then we won 5, and they're coming back, whatever it might be, the history. It's hard to say. I think, you know, without giving them too many props, look on paper, they're very strong. They are stronger than we are. They have their 5 bowlers are way higher in the PBA rankings than what we are. But when you get on that lane, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter all of our results we've had on the lane or on the PBA tour, but it's that unit, and you talk about it a lot, and the momentum, and I think bringing the team emphasis and talking and communication and how we act together really does help that momentum more because you're doing it as one. You're not doing it as five. So that's something that we've built on a lot. Even in our losses, you look at our losses the last couple of years, they haven't been great at the beginning, but we've always finished well. So if, this year it goes on longer. There's more games for us to play, and I'm not even really worried about a quick start. Obviously, I want that. Obviously, I want a quick start, but we're going to learn together. We're going to communicate together, and we're going to move forward together. And I know we're going to finish strong. We always do. It's just, how quickly you want to get to 23 points.
It's interesting hearing you speak about that because a lot of the players talk about the slow start the last couple of years, but for you, you're more focusing on the big finish that Europe always come with. And of course, 2014, we did the watch along just last week. I mean, you came from a long way back that year.
Yeah, we did, and that was, that's how much heart we have, that's how much we communicate, that's how much we talk, that's how much knowledge and experience we have. It all goes into those last 4 frames that we had as 4 bowlers. We all struck, and that's how we won. And that's how we finish these events. And maybe obviously we want a quick start. We want to do well. We want to hit the ground running. But for us, for me, it's very important that every game we play, we get better, and that's what we do most of the time. And that's led us to a lot of success. I think their team has got stronger the last few years. It's potentially their strongest ever team. They look great, but so do we. And we bring a different way of being good. But I think that's going to bring us to a lot of success as well.
Will you start at all this year looking at it tactically in terms of who plays where? Because, one of the things last year in particular, and even the year before, the guy sat next to you there just seemed to keep wiping out your best player. Is that something you'll think about when you do the lineups this year?
A little bit. It goes from 4 to 5, so automatically there's an extra 20% of different things that can happen without having a different structure and formats, which I think we have this year as well. I haven't looked at it too closely yet, but still a little bit of time out for us to go and sit down and do that and bowl on the patterns and figure out who's bowling well, who isn't, what we've got to do, how we're going to get the people who are bowling badly to bowl better or whatever else it might be. And Thomas is a great bowler. He's been deserving of a place on the team for a long time. So I know he's going to. I don't want to use the catchphrase, the cliche of hit the ground running. That's not really what I feel like we're about. But that communication, getting people comfortable. I think that's what we've done really well with Jesper a few years ago when he had his first event. And the same for Thomas this year. Jesper's firepower that he has and his strike ball is so different than everyone else's. But for Thomas, he just plays the lane so uniquely. And I think that's what us as a team need. We need a different viewpoint. We need a different way of looking at the lane, different sort of communication, different type of team bowler as well. I know Martin's a great team bowler, and so is Thomas. So we're not going to lose anything there, but we might gain something with Thomas, something a little bit different perspective. And I think, we're set up to have a really good year this year.
Well, Anthony, one thing that Team USA don't have to worry about, and you personally don't have to worry about, is sort of fixing things from previous years, because the momentum that we keep talking about, USA are riding that crest right now. For you yourself, 2 brilliant years at the Weber Cup. What's it like for you out there? Do you just feel at home on the Weber Cup lane?
I think it's more or less just a comfort thing in general in bowling. I tell people all the time, whether we're bowling on TV shows, practicing, competing in normal events, that at the end of the day, it's just you in the lane. So for me, it doesn't matter whether there's one lane or there's 36 of them next to each other. Still got to bowl. So for me, that's kind of always been my thing, is just try to keep it as simple as possible and just go out and make as many good shots as I can.
You talk about not worrying too much about being the MVP this year. It's just about USA getting the 3-peat. Are you wary of sort of a European reaction this year? Because, of course, they'll be suffering from 2 defeats.
I think they've put up good fights the last couple of years. They're obviously going to keep fighting. It's a little bit longer format this year, so that'll be interesting to see how things play out. I think we just kind of have to keep going out, keep bowling well, keep communicating, just kind of do everything that we have been doing in the past couple of years and see where that takes us.
And we were speaking, obviously, to Jesper and Kyle earlier about their friendship, the fact they bowled together. Of course, you guys bowl together as well. Anthony, what's it like bowling on a team with Dom?
So it's actually funny. It was our first year bowling together this year. At some point during the block, I made a comment to him about basically trust your shot or, commit to it. And he's standing on the approach, turns and looks at me and goes, "Mate, you don't have to worry about that." And goes up and throws it. So it's nice to bowl with a guy who just feel like just as creative as me. You can play any part of the lane, comfortable doing anything at any time. So it's really cool to get to bowl with him. I'm looking forward to do it in years down the road.
But of course, this year you'll be up against each other. Dom, will you relish a match against Anthony this year?
Yeah, he's one of the best bowlers on tour, has been for the last few years. He's hands down the most versatile bowler on tour by far, because he can use the left-hand side of the lane and the right-hand side. And it's fantastic to watch and how his mind works. And you know, when he came out on tour as a kid with success, and he's grown into a guy now who just can beat anyone whenever he wants, really, and it's fantastic to watch. It's hard to play against, but yeah, relishing the chance to do that, and I think our team's set up well to do that as well.
Well, Dom, Anthony, thank you very much. It's all set up for a brilliant BetVictor Weber Cup. We start 1 p.m. UK time on Monday, live on Sky Sports. We're also on DAZN in the USA, on Viasat in Scandinavia. Do join in with the Fans' Choice poll as well. That's at webercup.com. Send us your selfies, send us your videos. The fans might not be here this year, but we want you to be here with us virtually. So please do log on to webercup.com and submit your selfies. Join the Fans' Choice, and of course tune in from 1 o'clock on Monday.